What is going on, everybody? It is Thor's Day. It is my favorite day of the week. I love Thor's Day. I know you love Thor's Day as well. That's why you're here. My gosh, you guys, we have a good one today. So Solana is on mainnet. Super exciting. I know you guys are exciting. Lot to talk about, lot to discuss, but let's get this introduction in and out of the way, you guys. All right, here we go. THORChain is the world's leading Bitcoin DEX. You can swap Bitcoin with 10 different blockchains across 39 different pools, 40 different pools. We got to edit that. That's my bad. Sorry about that, guys. Without using bridges or wrap tokens. Check it out at swap.thorchain.org. Swap.thorchain.org. Anyone in the world can use THORChain. There is no account to open, no KYC required. And THORChain has two tokens, RUNE and TCY. The fees for swapping on THORChain are paid in RUNE, and that's where the yield comes from. The fees are deducted from the swap, so you do not need to own RUNE to trade on THORChain. Very important. You can trade no matter what. 10% of the protocol's revenue goes to TCY token holders. Remember to stake your TCY tokens in order to collect the yield. There are no inflationary block rewards, therefore the yield is real money paid by real users. Pretty awesome, you guys. RUNE is also deflationary as 5% of the revenue is burned. THORChain is turning into a full layer 1 with the ability to create smart contracts on it similar to Ethereum. This is the app layer called Ruggiera, and it is an active development, you guys. Very exciting. If you need help with THORChain in general, join the THORChain community Discord and Telegram links. Links for those are on thorchain.org. Or you can join the show and ask us in real time. We do that as well. You guys, please follow all our social media. Facebook, Instagram, THORChain Contact on TikTok. We need 1,000 followers to start live streaming on those platforms. Please, if you don't even have an account, just make it. Follow all of the social media. It's very important that we get this done. And always remember, guys, this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial investment or legal advice. And with that out of the way, you guys, we are going to start the show. I hope everyone's having a great week. I'm having a great week, guys. Just a little update on Solana. It is currently paused. It was paused by 9 Realms. We're just waiting on an update. You know, when you have new chain, these little quirky things happen, so they are working the problem right now. So once we know more, we'll definitely communicate that. But I'm going to go ahead and kick it to my main man, Kenton. How you doing today, bro?
Good, man. I'm actually, sorry, guys. I'm just going to message Chad, see if he's coming. You coming to the space?
Well, if he needs a little time, we've got it, because I know you do definitely have a bigger update for us.
I do.
That you want to break down. So maybe it's actually works out well.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping Chad would be here too to hear it. So yeah, I gotta let you guys know I gave Reggie his notice, and so he won't be working with us anymore. It's just not working out, and you know, I've given him some chances. I've been trying to, it's been kind of a long time coming now. I was chatting with Denny and Coke a little bit before the show, and I probably could have done this sooner, you guys, but just kind of the way things are shaking out, and I was trying to, to not do work and get him to do it, right? Hire somebody else to do this, and just going through all the, setting everything up and doing everything. Like, I'm the one getting everything done. I'm pushing this stuff forward. I'm the one working nights and weekends. And it's like, I may as well just do it. Instead of trying to train someone else up and have them, take over and be responsible, whatever, to get someone to really care, like I do, like, it's just, we have to pay them several $100,000, like, $400,000 or $500,000 a year type thing to get a real CMO to really get into it. And, and even then that person is going to take time to get caught up. So, I've been pushing this stuff forward. I got the relationships with Denny and Coke, the guys running social media. I've been managing all those people, and really, like, all the marketers I've talked to, a lot of them other than Reggie, a lot of their ideas and stuff are just like, oh, we'll outsource this and hire someone for that and whatever. And it's like, well, I don't need to hire someone to hire someone else. Like, I can just do all that, right? And so, and it's basically what I have been doing. So I may as well just take it over, just do it properly, and I like to think I'm pretty honest with you guys. So, if I'm stumbling, if I'm not like something isn't working, I don't know how to do it. Like it's not about I'm not just going to sit there and spin my wheels or just like not tell anyone, right? So I'll keep going, doing what I can, and if I, then start to look to outsource or hire or whatever. So right now, kind of what Scorch and I have talked about is just this will be good. Just frees up some cash, right? So we're not spending the money on them. We can, some of the people that we're outsourcing stuff to right now, we can give them a bit more work, pay them instead, and just see how well I can do with this, and say like when we start doing paid ads and whatever, if I'm just not finding anything that works, right? I just can't crack the nut. Then at least I can go. We've already tried things. We know what's not working, and then when we go to try to hire someone, find someone to help us, we can say, look, this is everything we've done. And then that's kind of part of the interview is like, do they have any feedback? Like, oh, well, you should do this, and we can try that, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And as opposed to just them hiring somebody to try all those things that I could have done myself anyway, right? So me doing stuff it's kind of like the 80-20 rule, right? So, I do 20% of the work, that should get us 80% there, right? And then maybe bring someone else to get us that little bit extra. And and if we do that, then that next person, maybe it's like a bit more of a junior role where they can train up, right? And then it's a nice transition from me to them. But right now, the way it was working is like I'm expecting Reggie to do stuff, and then it's not getting done. So I'm doing other things, and because he's not getting done, then we're behind. So yeah, so I feel like the website, I feel like we're a good 6 weeks behind, and it should be done by now. So yeah, guys, this is good. This things I think will move cleaner, smoother. Like I said, I've got the relationships with everyone that. There's about several people between the front end, people like you, Danny, people running social media channels or SEO, like all this stuff. So it's just easier. And maybe I'll stop there, see, Danny, if you have any questions or if the community's asked anything.
I haven't seen anything from the community. I think it just makes sense. I mean, you just make a tighter team, faster execution. I think everyone sees that you're constantly pushing the needle forward, and that's what we need. So I think most people get it, man. Especially you made your post in Discord, and all I saw was pretty much 99% positive responses. So no big deal, man. I wouldn't think too much I wouldn't think too much more about it unless someone says something.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. This is part of it. Like I do want it. I want stuff done now, right? And it's not, and I'm like, I know I can move faster on this. So, so the other good thing is, maybe just tease you guys a bit. There is something I got in the works, which might cost around the same as Reggie, what we were paying Reggie, and it'd be way better to allocate that money to this idea than what we were paying Reggie, and. So fingers crossed that can go through. I think everyone will agree it's a great idea. So I know I'm being coy, but I don't want to say anything. And I'm working on all kinds of things in the background. I don't know what's going to materialize or not, right? And so I'd rather wait till something's actually going to happen before really bringing it up. So just so you guys know, so I do. Sometimes you may not see things, but I'm definitely talking and working on stuff. And the other reason too, I don't want to say too much publicly because it could just affect my negotiations, right? Trying to get a good price and whatnot. This is after the site is done, like the homepage that THORChain.org. Then I can start focusing on like paid advertising, like how do we actually get people to the site. And I've kind of got a rough draft of a write-up I'm going to do, like a blog post for you guys, so I can really, when you write, you actually really crystallize your thoughts, And so I can put it all down, get it all in order, and remind everybody what I'm working on, what the plan is and what to expect. So yeah, but it all starts with our website and STO, right? I'm trying to build a giant funnel to this. So I know this is a pyramid, but it's almost like an inverse pyramid. So this, in the funnel, this is the base, right? So I got to get this base done of the funnel, and then we can start focusing on all the other stuff on top to get us into the site. STO is coming along. They pushed through some updates. The new like font and colors and everything to make it match the new front end is done. It might still be, there's still some tweaks they got to do, part of the updating stuff. It's a little handful, little small errors, so don't 100% judge them. But if you do see them, please point it out. I tweaked and updated the streaming swap settings, so hopefully they make a lot more sense. The one I'm unsure about, I actually need help from the community because I have to admit I don't know, I don't understand, I can't figure it out. On streaming swaps, if we set the interval to 0, does that make it like an instant market order? Like it bypasses streaming and just goes straight to sell. And I think that might have been how it worked before, but now with the swap advanced queue for like rapid swaps, I think that behavior might change. I'm not sure. I don't know. There's another reason I was hoping Chad would be here. We could maybe ask him. But and I've asked in Discord, and so that I need to figure out, and what 0 does, so that we can do fix it properly on the front end. But yeah, so that's and instead of calling it streaming swaps, we call it TWAP, right? So that we got to talk. We can't talk inside baseball, right, with the THORChain community, right? Like we have to imagine somebody's coming here for their first time in their life. They've never heard THORChain before. At least a TWAP, maybe they've never heard that, but they can Google the TWAP, right? And there's all kinds of information on it. And but in the pop-ups in the eyes, I mentioned these are called streaming swaps on THORChain. So if somebody's going to go dig into THORChain docs, they can find it. Limit orders, that page needs to be tweaked a little bit, just a couple little bugs. And then we're going to work on, we're going to prioritize next the dashboard for wallets to integrate THORChain. So I started a group chat with Cake Wallet and the Unstoppable guys. Vic from Cake Wallet and Ibec from Unstoppable. They're on friendly terms with each other. And so hopefully we get something going there and we get Cake Wallet to turn on THORChain. And talking to Ibec about this, he's like, well, technically Unstoppable is a wallet, Cake is a wallet, they may not want us. Cake Wallet devs may not want their competition devs helping them with the integration, right? So I basically, okay, let's prioritize and get the dashboard done. Let's get the dashboard for partners. And basically it's just a way to create a Thor name, a Maya name, and to set the affiliate fee, and their address to receive payment. And so instead of needing help from the Unstoppable guys or having to do things manually, just be like a simple interface for them to go do it. So Ibec told me he could do it in a week. We'll see. This is typical devs, right? Telling me how long it'll take. So, so hopefully next week by the time we talk, it'll be done. But that'll be nice because it'll be. I know when Native Swap integrated the THORChain API, they had a bit of a. It was not comfortable. They had to struggle a little bit. So. They got it done. They did it. But it'd be nice to do this, just make it easier for our partners. So yeah, that's the next thing we're working on there. I do think STO is good enough to start promoting, right? To start like selling, doing paid ads, whatever, drive traffic to it. We'll still keep updating it and making it better. But as far as placing swaps are concerned, I think we're doing pretty good. I'm not aware of any issues anyway. I don't know if Sam Yap and Koitsu are dealing with it in the Discord or not. But I think we've ironed out a lot of the bugs there. Hey, Chad.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How's it going, man? Good.
Sorry, get my headset.
No, don't worry at all. Glad to have you, man. Awesome. And you actually joined. I'll wait for his headphones to come on. Yeah. Well, it's a good time to ask him that question about the streaming swaps, right? So, pretty good.
Maybe it is, yeah. Sorry, Chad, put you right on the spot as soon as you get here. Can you hear?
Yeah. It's all coming off the Mac Pro speaker. They're not, and they don't just change it once you get into a thing.
It sounds funny to me.
Yeah, he sounds robotic and really slow.
Is it just happening?
Yeah, I can't hear you, brother.
Let me go record that.
Yeah, he says he's gonna come back.
Okay.
I could mouth read that one.
I think I fixed my internet. I'm hardwired in now. I
Okay.
got off my Wi-Fi. So hopefully my internet will be fine now.
You've been so far so good, man. I like it.
Yeah. I'll do some speed tests, and it's like my Wi-Fi is almost half of being hard connected. It's like, holy smokes.
Yeah, usually you look a little pixelated to me. Now you look like a handsome man named Kenton. So it works out,
awesome.
bro.
Right on, I'll take it. I got better looking with better internet.
You did.
Like, there you go. Improve your
That's
internet. You
amazing.
get better looking people.
That's how that works. Chad's
All right, hopefully that's better.
There
Dude,
you go.
you sound
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, good.
Beautiful, Chad.
So
Sorry, late, guys.
I was giving people a bit of an update on the front end, on the interface, and I think I did a pretty good improvement there on the streaming swap settings. And on one of them, to choose the interval, like how many blocks between a swap, I have 0. And my understanding before, the way I understood it, or I thought I understood it, is that if you have a 0 interval, that turns it into an immediate order, like a market order. And but I'm not 100% sure. And so I think Koitsu mentioned that now with the advanced swap queue, putting 0 in interval actually does something else now. So yeah, maybe you can help me. I apologize. I tried going through the docs. I tried to figure it out.
It's fine. No, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So like the interval typically would have been 1 in most cases, which just says like how many blocks do we wait until we do another subswap, right? That's the question that this is basically answering. And so 1 is just like every block do a subswap and you just kind of like streaming swap your way through the thing, right? But with rapid swaps, more so than anything else, you could get multiple transactions or multiple subswaps within a single block, right? And so I wanted to make sure there was a way that you could opt in and out of that system, right? So like when adding rapid swaps, I wanted to make sure that like if you didn't want to do a rapid swap, you just didn't like the behavior or whatever, like just give you that flexibility to use the old system. So like if you put in 1, it just does a trade every swap, and it doesn't allow you to do a rapid swap in that scenario. It's just 1 trade per block, right? So you miss out on the rapid swaps functionality in that scenario. If you put 0, you're just like, give me like the fastest speed possible, which for right now it's still just 1 in the current moment because rapid swaps is turned off. It's not an active feature. So if you were to put 1 right now, I think what would happen, I'd have to look at the code to be sure, but like I think what would happen it would just default back from a 0 to a 1, I believe. But once rapid swaps is on, it'll do like multiple trades per block in that scenario.
Okay, so it won't be. So with rapid swaps on, let's plan for it being on, right?
Yeah.
Looking forward. When we choose 0 for the interval, it'll just do multiple swaps within a block instead of 1 swap per block.
It'll trade basically as fast as it can muster, right? However fast it can trade, it'll trade that fast. looking for the fastest speed possible. But if
Okay.
you put a 1 in there, you're just saying like just do one sub trade per
Okay.
block so that we go like a little bit
Yeah.
slower.
Okay. Okay. So then my understanding is correct. If we choose 0, it sells as fast as possible. It might still take 5 blocks to do it,
Yeah.
but okay. Okay.
It depends on like how RB the arbs are, right? Like how much liquidity are they putting in intra-block, like in the middle of the block, so to speak, to allow multiple trades to happen in a single block. But if there's no arbing, within the context of within a block, right? Then it's just gonna like fall back. It should fall back to just like every block doing one trade, which is what it does right now.
Okay. Just making some notes for myself.
Yeah. That's the expected behavior. Of course, rapid swaps hasn't been turned on yet. It could have issues or could have bugs with it. So, be wary in the beginning for any new feature, being rapid swaps or anything else for that matter.
So then with rapid swaps turned off, if somebody enters 0 at interval, it'll actually just change it to 1. It'll
I think
go
so.
1 block. Okay.
Yeah, I believe
got
so.
it. That's fine. Like it's just, at least it's the conservative option. It's not going to like make it worse type deal.
Yes, I mean that obviously like we don't want to make things worse, right?
Yeah.
My genius brain tells me we don't want things to go worse. That's a really hard thing to figure out. But that's why I've been hesitant to turn on rapid swaps to begin with. Even if the code's been there for months now, technically it's like live in the chain. We could just flip it on right now if we really felt like it. But I was weary about the scenario where we trade too many times within a block, and there's no counterweight or there's nothing correcting the price per sub swap that you're doing. And I didn't want to give you a worse price execution than if you just did one every block, like that. So I was just trying to be cautious of that.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're here. So, guys, I want to go over logos with you. I made a little slideshow to show. So give me a second here. I'm going to share my screen. Did I do screen or presentation? Maybe. I don't know what's the best way to do this.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
This work?
Yep, works good
Yep.
to me.
Okay, so I want to bring this up to you guys and the community before we get too far along with it. So, where do I start? Let me go back. Let's see. There we go. So here's our current logos, right? And there's been lots of talk over the last several months about rebranding, and we got to do something different. I'm of the opinion that we should just try fixing our brand first before throwing everything away and starting from scratch. And one of the reasons people wanted rebrand is because we got THORSwap and THORWallet using the same logos. It's confusing, right? Who is which is what, all that kind of stuff, right? And so I've been thinking about it. We've been internally, the marketing team, we've been talking about this for months, kind of. And I was pushing toward the community, like let's just stick with what we have and try and fix it first. And as far as THORSwap and THORWallet, I think it just depends on how you look at it. So, everyone's looking at it as a negative. They're comping our logo. It's bad. It's not good. And we're not the same. And this and that. Blah blah blah. And I understand that point of view, but I think look on the bright side. The fact they want to use that logo means they ascribe value to THORChain and the THORChain brand. And if we should want people to be using our logo, or like it's like the Nike swoosh. Some people get that tattooed on their arm, and you've made it as a brand when people are getting your logo tattooed, right? And so we should want everyone to use the lightning bolt logo. We should want people to emulate us and copy it, right? That's how we get recognition. So I don't think it's actually that bad that THORWallet and THORSwap are using it. And what we can do is maybe just differentiate ourselves just a little bit. And so this is what we've come up with. This is this is current, right? This is the style that already exists. It's been around for a while. Same with this lightning bolt. And what we're thinking is for the RUNE token and TCY is just basically copy it. We've got RUNE is obviously green. We've got the same green here from the fading, and then same with the blue here, blue for TCY. And at least it looks like these all belong together. And because right now, like these three logos, they just these could be three completely different companies, right? Three completely different products. Separate, there's no relation between them. At least with this, we have some relation. And the lightning bolt is our logo. Don't get me wrong, guys. I actually like the R in the RUNE. I think it's cool. But this lightning bolt is it. This is for THORChain. And I don't know if you can see. I'm sharing this screen. Can you see my Google search here?
No, we just see your
Okay.
logos.
All right, give me a second. Let me go back. What am I sharing? Maybe I should share my screen. That might probably be better.
Or you can share the window, and then it'll do all your browsers.
Does it?
Get rid of the porn first before you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
So if you go Google search RUNE token logo, it's the lightning bolt.
Yeah.
And you've got the R here, and this is interesting. I've never seen that before. But and if you go to most sites, this is pretty much what you see the most often. Is a lightning bolt and on the green on black. And so just coming back to here, the other thing is with the if we how do I go backwards? There you go. So if we want to get away from THORSwap and THORWallet, they're using black, right? So we can, just avoid using black, and that helps separate us and be a bit different. The other thing is on the new THORChain.org site, we're moving away from the black background because it just white elicits trust. So we're moving to a white background, trying to get away from the black because it implies money laundering and stealing and bad, whatever negative, right? So we're trying to elicit trust and safety when people come to THORChain, right? And so the colors just pop a bit better on the white versus if we stick with the black logos. So I wanted to bring this up with you guys. This is what we're working on. I've showed it to probably a dozen people now. Most people agree, think it makes sense. But I don't want to push forward with this unless we get broad support. Maybe there's some constructive feedback. I'm really sensitive. I don't want to do a Cracker Barrel Jaguar on you guys and piss everyone off. Maybe I'll stop there. See if you, Chad or Denny, you guys have any comments.
Denny, I'm curious to get your thoughts first, actually.
Well, I think it's right. Okay, the first thing is if you have black, it does elicit negativity. It does. And so I think the white transition is an interesting play. I mean, because you have to think people who are going to come to THORChain for the first time, how are they emotionally going to interpret the logo? That stuff matters. I mean, I know some of us think it's silly, but that matters, right? You want something that's it's pure, it's good, it's inviting, just how it is. And I think it is an interesting way to delineate ourselves from people who use a similar. I think that shape, like you said, Kenton, I think that's a good argument, compelling argument. I know like THORSwap, THORWallet, they're going to use it, but that shape just being more recognizable, that's probably not such a bad thing, right? I mean, we're increasing our mind share, so I do like it. And then yes, I do think if we do make the assets more homogenized like this, it just. If I can't, it's hard for me to remove all my knowledge about THORChain and pretend I'm seeing this for the first time, right? But if I try to do that, I would look at RUNE, TCY, and THORChain, and I think I would be confused. I would not understand the relationship. And I do think it is clever that you took half of the hue from the original logo and just assign that as a total hue for the two assets of THORChain. So THORChain is these two colors, and then you take those two hues and you make that. I think that's pretty clever. I think that's an interesting way. Ultimately, I think THORChain, this industry, is just it's a complicated thing, but from my opinion, this does seem like a more intuitive way to get people understand it and bring them into the project. I'll stop there.
One of the interesting things is that because of the color choice, it like looking at the document here, it feels like RUNE plus TCY equals THORChain. Because you get the green, you get the blue, put them two together, and then you get the THORChain logo on the top there. It kind of gives, like, that's kind of like the impression that I'm trying to get as a first-time viewer who doesn't know anything about THORChain, RUNE, or TCY. Like, how do I interpret this? Which is, I think that's not necessarily bad or incorrect or anything. It's just like kind of an observation to share.
That's the way I was looking at it too, Chad,
yeah.
Originally, yeah.
I do agree with Patriot about that, like the darker colors, a little bit heavier, a little this, a little that. Like I think the lightness is actually kind of a positive thing. It just kind of makes the brand feel a bit lighter and more engaging in that kind of way. So I think I like that aspect to it. Overall, I think it's a generally like a really good direction. The only other thought that I had, and I've been wanting to play with it, and I haven't had the time because I'm pretty busy with other things. But is that like it'd be interesting to use the R and use the Y of TCY as like a subscript, if that makes sense. To like have a cutout R, like a cutout white R, like a subscript to the THORChain logo, and a cutout like a little tiny Y next to the THORChain logo on the blue one.
Like
and
down here or something, you mean?
Yeah, to the lower right, like a little small thing, because then it becomes the R is like, or the Y is like is sub of THORChain. Like THORChain's the big protocol thing, right? It's like that's what the whole protocol is, and then part of that, or a smaller part of that, is RUNE. A small part of that is TCY, and then by doing that, it also leaves it open for like, if you wanted to do like secured assets for like Bitcoin and Ethereum and like, what other tokens, you have a way of differentiating, an infinite number of tokens. So you have RUNE, TCY, secured asset Bitcoin, secured asset Ethereum, secured asset blah, blah, blah. And you can just create as many of these logos as you want for as many tokens as you want rolling into the future. Because when we designed the THORChain logo and the RUNE logo, like secured assets didn't even exist at that time, or TCY for that matter, of course. And so like we thinking about building our brand or designing our brand in a way that is flexible enough to move into the future, not just like addressing what we have today, which is TCY and RUNE, but also having it be flexible so that as we move more into like Ruji, for example, right, they're going to use a lot of secured assets, and they can use those logos to represent, this is not Bitcoin you're trading with, it is a secured asset Bitcoin. So it's not conflating or confusing customers in that kind of way. And that's the same thing with the UIs within like the swap interface, right? Making it clear that you're not swapping for Bitcoin, you're getting, secured asset Bitcoin in this scenario. And having that clear delineation between those two things is just really, I think, would be beneficial for clarity in how people are trading. Like when I'm using the Bitcoin logo, I'm getting real Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Maybe we'll pull it up here quick. So like right now on the interface, when you're searching for a token, let me look up Ethereum. So I don't know how well you guys do I need to make this bigger?
No, we can see it. It's okay.
I can see okay.
It's okay.
Bigger
Okay,
helps
yeah.
though.
The audience.
Yeah.
So you see base. There's the base logo there, BNB chain, right? Then Ethereum is just Ethereum. So and then even with, so right now, this is how it looks. We can always, play with this if we need to. But this is how it looks right now on the front end.
Yeah. So it's conceptually, like what you're doing there is conceptually similar to what I'm kind of referring to, at least. You're doing it a little bit of a different way, which, to be honest, the way you're doing it is actually a really nice way. If I were to swap to like a secured asset Bitcoin in your interface, can I even do that? And B, if I can, what would that look like?
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's a really good question. I'm glad you brought it up, Chad, 'cause I actually hadn't really thought about it.
Yeah,
but
we should form a template that makes it intuitive for the. We don't do it for today. We think ahead in the future, and so if we can
exactly.
make an intuitive template now, then people, yes, yeah.
I'm envisioning something like this, so that if somebody types in THORChain, it's going to pull up all the secured assets too, and then it'll have our logo saying it's THORChain.
That's a good way of doing it. Yeah.
And then we have, but we still need to create a unique logo for that secured asset.
Which, to be fair, like if you have the little like THORChain logo in the bottom right hand corner, like you do have for RUNE and TCY there on your screen, and you just have the Bitcoin logo in the background instead of the TCY, circle or whatever, I think that's clear enough. At least in my opinion, that is.
Yeah. Okay. Let me. All right. Cool. So then, so whatever. I agree with you. We should probably come up with some ideas for secured assets and see how that relates to these logos and make sure it makes sense.
It could just be like what you were just doing there. Like you just have a regular old Bitcoin logo, and in the bottom right hand corner you got a little THORChain logo.
So it actually just like BTCB, like right
here. Instead of the BNB chain logo you got right there, you're already kind of doing it, right? But just replace the BNB chain logo with the THORChain logo, and boom.
Yeah.
Got it. But this is okay. So this is great for our interface on STO. Do you think these secured assets we're gonna want to create CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko pages for them?
I don't think so currently, but that would change. Like we've talked in the past, like amongst the devs and whatnot, about exporting our secured assets to other chains, right? To Ethereum, to IBC chains, to whatever, and there's value in that, and there's some value and some not in value. That if you get to that place where you start exporting those assets to other chains, then it makes sense to have it be on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko or like these kinds of things, because it's like an asset that people are holding and trading, and it's engaging with other blockchains and Ethereum and whatever else out there, Base, whatever. Then it makes sense to have CMC and that kind of stuff. But before that point, I wouldn't think that it did.
All right, then I'm not going to worry about it then.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a tomorrow problem. We solve our own interface problem, how it's going to display. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so anything else? Any other?
I think that's it's an improvement, right? Let's improvement and dial it in, right? See how it goes and just dial it in gradually. I am sorry if you guys can hear someone decide to do construction just right now outside my house. So sorry if you can hear that, but I think it's a great improvement.
So I'll post this in the marketing channel on Discord. People want to talk about it there. I'll post it on Twitter too. So just get some feedback from everybody. But yeah, I really don't want this to be my way or the highway, guys. Right? I want to at least get general buy-in. There's always gonna be somebody who complains, but if it's the vast majority of you guys, everyone's cool with it, then great. The last thing we need right now is to start any drama, right, about changing these. Right? It should all be something we all kind of support. So. Okay.
Yeah, if you give the opportunity for people to have their input, that pretty much always resolves any potential drama. If you would have just pushed it without consulting, people would have been like, "You didn't include me."
Yeah,
well, that's how it is.
That's why I want to bring it up now, as opposed to just doing it on the website and surprising everyone. Like just bring it up, right? So okay, all right, cool. I'll stop sharing. All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah. No worries.
That's good for me. I don't know, Chad, if you want to.
Well, I do have one question that people want to know. A lot of people want to know, Chad. Solana just got paused. I'm pretty sure it's from the Nine Realms devs. Maybe they're testing some things. Did you have any information about Solana or anything like that currently? Or?
Yeah, no. It was just there's a bug in the chain client for Solana that it triggered a double spend it was like $8. You know, it was like nothing. The pool itself is only like 2K deep intentionally, so just so we can have time to test it out, because this is obviously a new chain, and it's not like a fork of another UTXO chain or another EVM chain. And we've got hardened code that's been doing that for years. This is a brand new chain client, and a bit like structurally different chain client that we've seen in the past. So it's more complicated. So it needs a little bit more like kind of runtime, so to speak, to find some of these kind of like nuanced issues that aren't clear or obvious to anybody writing the code or even reviewing it. And so we just found a small bug, and we just got to like get it patched, which we're probably gonna put that patch out, I think like tomorrow probably. And when the nodes, 80% of the nodes adopt the new change, then we'll probably resume it.
Perfect. Yeah, this is exactly what I've been saying, guys. I say, we got a new chain. Expect there to be little nuances, little edge cases, little bugs here and there. Totally normal. That's why we're responsible when we load these pools. We start with a very small amount. That's how we do it. So shout out to you and 9Rums. And that was, the main question. I think I got some saved up here, but that, of course, that was the most recent thing. Well, okay, everyone, Chad, this is just going to be a topic every space. What's going on with Huginn? What's the latest, man?
Huginn is doing great. For 3.16, I think Huginn did 40-something merge requests that it made. That's about almost half. That's about almost exactly half of the code changes in the code base is done by AI now at this point, which is kind of wild, if you think about it, which is pretty impressive in some ways. It can do a lot more, and the thing that's really slowing is like two things. One is I only have so many tokens, to consume, and as I mentioned before, I'm just using my own personal Claude Max account, at least for the time being, to do what it's trying to do. We're already getting so close to maxing myself every week. I'm like basically maxing out the number of tokens that I'm allotted. But Huginn is continuing to like scan for issues and bugs that it finds, and it's finding them along the way. And whenever it finds one, it just logs an issue. I review them myself, and then assign it back to Huginn to actually take care of it. So it's very productive. It's helping me be much more focused, which is really positive, because it's taking care of a lot of the monotonous things about making code changes and updating, doing rebasing and CI failures and all sorts of like little things that take small changes that are to fix it, but it takes an hour to do so. As silly as that sounds, raise the tokens, yeah. So it's going very well in that regard. One of the next things, the next like major milestone for Huginn that I'm interested in focusing on is monitoring mainnet, which I've mentioned in the past. But as I think about it more and more and more, it becomes more and more impractical, because the amount of data that the network is producing, every block, every 6 seconds, the number of logs, the number of metrics, like this is too large to be able to get an LLM to process that, because like we're already maxing out my tokens as is before we even start like having it continuously process everything that the network is doing. So I think what I need to do to make this much more practical is that I need to build, and I'm not even sure exactly what this is quite yet. I need to spend more time thinking about it. But I need to build something like very small and lightweight form of an AI, not like an LLM or even a neural network for that matter, something a lot simpler. Like maybe it's just like something as like a regex. Maybe that's something as dumb and simple as that, or maybe something more complicated. I don't know. Probably like there are different mathematical equations that you can apply to streaming metric data to look for outliers or irregular activity or determining anomalies. And then once that kind of lighter shim layer detects something that it perceives to be unusual or interesting, it doesn't know what that is. It just say like, oh, there was this weird error in the logs, or the metrics of this data is skyrocketing or dropping off in one direction or the other. And then it would send that data to the LLM, to Huginn, and then Huginn would go, okay, I see this metric data. It's really weird that the block time suddenly increased to 20 seconds a block. I'm just making something up here. And then it can grab the block to think, okay, what are the logs for that block? what are the events that happened within that block, and like start going out and grabbing a bunch of different data to fill us context with what actually transpired, and then use LLMs and AI to process all that stuff, determine some sort of issue, triage it, create a GitLab issue, maybe even produce a PR right then and there that fixes whatever the thing that just happened. So by the time I even sit down my laptop to investigate, like the fix has already been generated autonomously, and we can just, of course I have to review it and validate it, make sure it's all correct, accurate, blah, 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 blah. And then we can more quickly release that update to the community and say, oh, hey, block time skyrocketed to 20 seconds because of this thing, whatever that thing was. And we can just like be quicker in our response time because Huginn's already done like a huge chunk of the work, and it does that more or less in real time. So I need to spend more time, more like deep thought into this part of it. But it is something I want to do in the near future.
Yeah, Kenton, I don't know how you feel, but I'm seeing this everywhere now online. I'm seeing everyone now talk about AI. So you were doing this before this. I started seeing this stuff, Chad. Now it's everywhere. So you were totally ahead of the curve on this one.
Yeah.
I just think, I mean, this is what everyone's going to start doing, right? And
everybody's going to start doing this. I started talking about this probably 9 months ago, or something like that. Like I've been talking about using AI in this particular context, in this particular way, since when I first came back to the project, 9-10 months ago, whatever the hell the number has been. And even at that time, it was still like, you can probably go through my tweets and actually find this. So it's probably somewhere back there. But like, even at that time, like, I'm not even sure if this is going to work or not. I'm not even sure this is going to be useful or not. But it is the direction it seems the market's going to be going, is to building very powerful AIs. And I want to spend the time now to get ahead of the curve and build the roads, build the streets, build the piping, if you want to call it that, so that as the models get smarter and smarter and smarter, we've already built the framework to integrate all that kind of latest AI technology and deploy it right into THORChain's kind of development process. And before you know it, like, I'm just going to be sitting in like GitLab and just managing as like a PM. We joked last time about being a chaperone, and it's be generating, code changes without my really direct engagement with it, other than just like commenting and asking, hey, do this, and then fix this, and then it gets done. And I'm like, cool, that looks great. Approve, merged, carry on.
Yeah. Nice.
Right. And the thing that gets me excited, you guys, is, okay, I think the big hiccup for THORChain has just been, our first principles are solid, right? But that includes complexity, like having our own native pools and all the swap logic and Bifrost and all this stuff and consensus and blah, 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 right? But here's the thing, like, since AI tools everyone's going to be using to improving their code, I think this is where our first principles really shine. And it's going to lead to increased iteration on our part. We can now ship so much more and harden the code so much faster. And if our first principles are more sound than ours, which in my opinion they are, right? This just means our competitive advantage just becomes more and more crystallized. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's kind of the way I'm interpreting it, right? Because we're 700,000 lines of code. So if we can use AI to like make this easier for you, F yes, you know what I mean? Let's go, LFG.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, at minimum, it has to be done, right? Because there's, I don't believe in this whole AI is going to make us all obsolete and people are going to be starving in the streets. I think I agree with the notion that it's like AI isn't going to take your job. It's people that know how to use AI will be taking your job, type thing. So like what you said, Chad, like you being the project manager of this giant LLM, like, that makes sense to me. I believe that's the way it's going to shake out, and if you're not doing it, somebody else is going to do it on another project, another protocol, whatever, right? And we lose out to that. So, yeah, in my mind, AI is just like a really good efficiency tool. I don't know. I don't buy into the doom and gloom that we're all going to be replaced and become useless meat sacks.
I mean, you're right. Like that's. This happens, what we're talking about, every 20 to 60 years with some new technology.
Yeah.
You can make the argument with lots of things, right? It like society shifts and changes over time. Like, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, 90% of jobs in America were around agriculture, right? Today it's like probably closer to like 4% or something like this.
Yeah.
Technology just changes the landscape. It doesn't kill people. It kills certain jobs or restructures certain jobs, and you just got to move with the times. You know what I mean? I was just listening to Boris, I forget his last name right now, the guy who created Cloud Code, and he was saying that like he thinks that the term, the job of software engineer, which is what I've spent the last 15-ish years, maybe 20 years of my life becoming highly proficient at and becoming very good at it, will kind of cease to exist as a career, as a title, or maybe like it exists in a vestigial tale kind of way. But like you'll just be renamed to like builders, you know, or PMs, or maybe some new phrase. And like that's not necessarily that it's like the end of society or anything. It just structurally changes how we develop code. Like a really great example of that is going from, I can't remember if I mentioned this last time because it's an interesting analogy, is like going from before, you know, Johann created the printing press, a very small percentage of humans could read and write. It was like less than 1% approximately. And nobody would have a career in reading and writing except for when you were raised by hired by a king or sometimes the church. But it was a very like kind of edge case. And then all of a sudden the ability to print documents and read and like actually mass produce books, this like changed this thing from being a niche, you know, specialized skill to something that is like everybody can more or less do. Like reading and writing became, within 200 years, 70% of humans across the whole planet could then read or write, right? And so I think software engineering, as we call it today, is just going to shift from a highly specialized skill where 1% of the population can do it. People like me, who's dedicated my life to becoming a very good software engineer, like in not even 200 years, probably closer to 20 years, you know, 80% of people are going to be building their own software. And that's just a structurally different thing, and it sucks for me. It sucks for me in a big kind of way, but I'm still excited about it.
Well, but I don't think it sucks for you at all, because it's just like you said, what you do day to day is just going to change. Like your brain is still valuable. Your ability to think and reason, you're just going to be shifting your skill set, right? And it's just going
to It just means the skill set that I have now, at least a lot of it, is kind of useless. I wouldn't say it's useless. It's probably a little too strong of a term, but like I remember, you know, in the early days when I was learning to code, I would just build new projects. Like this is just general. Anybody who wants to learn how to code or anything, if you want to become a lawyer or an artist, this makes sense. This applies to everything. Like the trick to it, is go for quantity, not for quality. Don't focus too much about like doing really good coding. Just go for volume. And there was like a really interesting study done. They got two groups of people, and they were learning to be carpenters for both of these groups. And one group, they said, I want you to produce as many chairs as possible. Just like don't care about quality, just mass produce chairs as fast as you can. And the other group, they said, like, just I want you to make the best, nicest, cleanest, most perfect chairs you can make. And they found that the group that did the quantity not only produced more chairs as expected, but the quality of those chairs were better than the other guys. And the reason why that is because you just, the act of the muscle memory and the act of doing it, you just develop the skill of producing chairs much better, right? So in the early days of my coding experience, I would constantly be like, I had over 100 repos in my GitHub. Vast majority of them are original sources instead of forks. And every time I did a new project, I either had a new code base, a new coding language, a new framework, a new database. So I had like learned within over a 5-year-ish period, I had learned like a dozen coding languages, a dozen different database types, Mongo and SQL and CouchDB and Redis and whatever else. And then there was like, you know, HTTP frameworks. There were other types of frameworks. And I was just constantly learning and just learning all these different things every time, even though the projects I was building were probably crap and nobody ever used them and they were complete flops and failures. I learned a lot from the experience, right? And so I spent so many hours, 10,000 hours if you want to use the analogy, to become good at writing code and architecting and this kind of stuff. And now it's just like, I think architecting is still valuable today, at least for the time being, that's true. But that might seriously change in the next even just 2 years, but we'll see. Like whenever you're going to learn anything new, to anybody listening to this podcast, like just do it every day. You know, don't worry about quality. Don't worry about if you suck, because I'm going to tell you right now, you fucking do. You suck at whatever it is you're learning. You're going to suck at it. Your YouTube channel that you created or whatever it is you're doing, you fucking suck at it. And that's okay. As long as every time you do produce a new YouTube video, if that's what you're doing, that you learn something from the previous one and you get better and better and better and better. Don't expect yourself to be good day one. Give yourself, you know, at least a year. It requires that much ambition and drive and focus, and to not, you know, derail yourself with self-doubt, you know, or what's that's when you imposter syndrome. Don't worry about that stuff. Just keep on shipping, and do it. It doesn't matter if it's crap. Keep doing it. It will be crap for a long time. I'm going to guarantee it. Probably. So just keep on shipping and keep on doing it. You'll get better with time.
So well said. And I fully expand, like the videos Coke and I do, I fully plan on being embarrassed by our first episodes a year from now, because, you know, we've already started iterating so much. And I really like how you said that, Chad. You know, I was just thinking, you know, I think in 10 to 20 years, or maybe even shorter than that, like the idea of coders doing their own code will just be like almost unthinkable, right, with this new generation. And I think it's really cool that actually THORChain may be like one of the last examples where it's like, you know, humans actually built that. Like humans, real humans put their brains together, collaborate, and they built this amazing thing. They didn't have AI tools back in the day. Like they'll say those things from here now. Like it'll be the complexity will just blow people's minds of like what we're able to accomplish with just humans just banging their heads together, working, collaborating. I think that's really cool. I would bet money that's what's going to happen. The kids will look back and be like, how the hell did they even make that damn thing?
I was watching something the other day about like art, and like already AI art is being valued like at nothing, and people, they want the human made art, because with the human made art comes the story, the emotion, the motivation. Why did they go through it all, right? Where the AI doesn't have any of that, right? So that's really what, you know, people are buying in art. They're buying the artist. And, you know, it's like kind of like with sales. You don't buy the product, you buy the salesman, right?
Yeah.
So people are buying the artist and their story and everything, their heart that they put into it. And AI doesn't have that.
So I can have a story that directly correlates to that. On Christmas, I got a good friend who's a doctor. One of her dogs passed away, and I had a painting commissioned of her dog, right? And so we gave it to her just before Christmas, and she unveiled it, right? And she looked at it, and she's like, whoa, how did you do this? And she's like, wait a minute. Did someone paint this? And the moment I told her a human painter actually started painting it from scratch, then she started crying. The emotional impact hit. If it was just like an algorithmic AI with like a cheap printing on a canvas, it wouldn't have had that same connection. But because somebody literally looked at a picture of her dog and then looked at the canvas and meticulously got all the expressions, all the emotions, like then she started crying. So that's real. There's the humans doing things still has premium, 100%.
Yeah, that will always be true, and it depends on what the human's trying to consume. And so, like, if I'm going to buy art, maybe I want the story, right, is important. For a lot of artists out there, like my girlfriend does, you know, she's huge into artwork, and she's a very strong opinions on these things. It resonates strongly with her, and she's a different viewpoint than maybe I do, you know. For a lot of people out there who are looking for art, I think they're just looking for something that looks good and is relatively cheap and fits on the wall and that kind of thing. But for other people, like what Kenton's saying, like absolutely true. The story is actually a really, really important component for them.
Yeah. Well, cool, man.
I'm bullish on AI future. I got to say, the more and more I'm seeing, I'm getting more and more bullish. I mean, me too. Is what it is. When
you think about it, like technology in general, science and technology in general, is like the engine of prosperity in society. Like everything that we have in our societies, everything that's tangible at least, is brought to you by science, brought to you by technology, right? Like that's the reason why you live better than a king did, 150 years ago. Like the quality of life that you have is far better than a king. Even 100 years ago, the access to medicine, the access to food, information, education, you name it. Like it's incredible what we can do, how we can improve the quality of lives of everybody just by by almost every form of technology that we invent does improve quality of life in one form or another. Which is like critically important.
That's why I see it. That's why I see AI. It's just like the new tractor, the new electricity, whatever. Like, it's just going to catapult our quality of living. It's just going to, the poorest of the poor is going to be leveled up. Everyone's going to be leveled up. This is why, like, Elon's running around saying, like, don't even save for retirement anymore, because there's going to be so much wealth created that everyone's standard of living is just going to like step change up.
Right.
And that's the way I see it. Like, in the end game, right? Like you said, some people are going to lose their jobs, and they're going to wallow in a pit of misery, right? And they're not going to, like, they're going to have their blinders on. They won't see that 2 new jobs were created in its absence. But the people who do see that, they're going to ride the wave up. And I think net for humanity, this is going to be great. It's just going to be awesome.
It's like the example Chad gave in the beginning, right? Like, you're talking about, toiling in the field. Like, a lot of people look at pictures of, like, the Industrial Revolution, where, like, people are, like, in the lines, like, constructing. They got this real crude automated machinery, and there was a lot of injuries, in the beginning of that. But people would literally kill to do that instead of toil in the field all day. That was such a huge improvement for the quality of life, just being, and what we would see is really dicey right now. And so, yes, I don't see any reason why improvements on AI and the increase in technology will have any different effect in the future.
Yeah. Well, people should be saving for retirement just because Elon Musk says.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Hey, was that financial advice, Kenton? Was that financial advice?
Not financial advice from Kevin, just so everybody's aware. But he's right in some sense of, like, we could see a future like that jobs themselves could become obsolete if we get to a place, which is not unreasonable, where AI is more capable than 80% of humans and doing almost any arbitrary work that involves a computer, and even ones that don't, for like when you get to like humanoid robots, driving trucks or doing manufacturing, whatever. Like, there's a real future where, like, we don't even need jobs anymore. And, like, so when we look back, a while ago, and we say, like, you guys had to use outhouses, you didn't even have plumbing, like, that's just, like, kind of wild from our perspectives, right? Like, even though plumbing's, like, relatively new, we didn't have, like, plumbing in America for, like, the average house until, like, 1940s or 1950s. It's like, that's not that long ago.
My mom grew up with an outhouse.
Did she really?
Yeah.
How old's your mom?
So for her, that would have been in the, like, 50s.
Yeah, in the 50s, right?
60s.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
And there could be a day where our grandkids look at us and, like, you guys had to work jobs like slaves, like you guys used to do like forced slave labor, like doing spreadsheets and writing code like an idiot, like.
Dude, I believe we could be at that stage now if it weren't for the monetary system. All the wealth stolen and unevenly distributed, right? I think if we had an equal even natural distribution of wealth, we'd be much closer to that reality than we are today.
I don't know. That's hard to argue. You can argue against that and say that, like, without the improper distribution of wealth, if you want to call it that, to use your kind of mentality, you wouldn't have the capital. It'd be harder to have the capital to build the technologies that allow us to have that to begin with. Like, you would need wealthy people like your Musks and Sam Altmans and all these kinds of people, and to be able to deploy that kind of capital to build whatever the current edge of technology is.
Well, I think people like that they earn their capital properly. Like, I'm talking about people that steal capital that's allocated.
Misappropriation of tax funds.
Oh, well, theft is a very different. Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, I agree with you too. I think we can get to that point where it's like we become so wealthy, and that's the thing too. Is like, well, it's just like a human nature thing. Like, look at the poorest poor person in the West. They still have a cell phone. They still have TV. They have cable. They have heat. They have running water, like you mentioned. 100 years ago, a person would think that's like, what do you mean you're poor? Like, and so poverty is like, it's a relative concept, right? So like, we could, 100 years from now, somebody could be living this incredibly wealthy life from our standards today, but that's a poor person 100 years from now. Like,
yeah, or even like 20 years, because I live in New York City. I'm walking down the street. Sometimes I see somebody homeless on the street, and they got a cell phone in their hand, which would have been like super luxurious thing to have when the iPhone launched in, like, what was it, 2008 or whatever year that was, which was not that long ago. And that would have been like bleeding edge luxury, item. And like now, like even a poor person in the street who can barely, afford a cheeseburger, has a cell phone in their hand,
Well, let's wrap this. Let's bring this full circle to THORChain. So, AI is here. It's not going away. It's getting bigger. Do you think these AI agents are going to start using money, and they're going to start paying for stuff? And I assume they're going to use crypto. And if they're going to want to swap it, I hope they use THORChain. How do you see that coming out, Chad, with AI using money? I think it's pretty obvious they're going to use crypto. Is it obvious they're going to use THORChain? Or how do we build THORChain for AI, right?
So I have two thoughts on this. One is we are nowhere close to getting to a place where AI is using money at this stage of the game. When you hallucinate, you prompt ChatGPT and says, "Hey, what's the capital of Massachusetts?" And it says New York City. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a big deal. It's low stakes. I thought it should be Boston, but I thought it's New York City because of this, hallucination. You can't do that with crypto, right? Not to mention that the security risks of being able to do prompt injections and other forms of hackery that are just, it's too easy. Like to hack, an LLM these days is way too easy than it should be, which is not too dissimilar to like the early days of the EVM world, where there was even less, protections than there are now. And even now, there's like not enough in a sense. So I don't think there should be real money and real dollars, at least not meaningful dollars, right? Maybe like $10 here and there, like whatever, who cares? But like for the most part, we are not in a place now where that makes sense or is reasonable in the technology as of today, right? That doesn't mean it won't be true tomorrow at some point, and I'm happy to revise my stance with new information and new conditions. But as it stands now, I don't think it makes sense to do that. That being said, degens are still going to degen, and there are a lot of people out there who think that ChatGPT is like a super genius, even though it's just like mathematical, just like I'm just guessing what the next token is going to be, right, based upon mathematical analysis. That does not know what's going to happen to the Bitcoin price. I'm sorry to tell you, it does not know what's going to happen to the RUNE price or any asset for that matter. And I would certainly advise somebody to not give a meaningful amount of money to a ChatGPT and then go out and try to like make money on the stock market or in crypto or whatever. I think that's just a little bit irresponsible, to be honest with you. It's fun if you want to play around with it. Give it $100, whatever. Like, not a big deal. So that said, like, I am not against the idea of building some tools, SDKs, frameworks, whatever, wallets, specialized wallets, maybe. I'm open to doing that within the THORChain ecosystem just to get ahead of the curve, as I'm getting ahead of the curve on the Huginn side of things. But I just don't think that it makes sense to use AI with money quite yet.
Yeah, I actually saw this today. I posted a link in there. I probably don't have time to look at it, but someone took 4 bots, gave them 4 strategies, gave them $500 a piece, and just said, "You all have to fight, and whoever doesn't make it, you're dead. The best one wins." I thought that was pretty interesting. I think you're right, Chad. Building it today so that it's available, because I know there's going to be people who are going to try today
absolutely.
to do this.
Yeah. Degens are. They
want to be the first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, that makes sense, and I'm totally open to that. I haven't spent that much time looking into I know there's been talks about what's called the HTTP 429 error code, which is around need payments around payments and using that error code to. I haven't looked into the depths of it. I just saw it kind of go through my feed or whatever, and I haven't dived into the depths of it quite yet. But yeah, like building that stuff. I know Uniswap announced it recently that they're building or built some new tooling for SDKs or for AIs to do trading or something like this. I'd be interested to keep my eye open on this kind of stuff and maybe putting a little dev resources into it. Maybe not many, but some to investigate this and potentially doing it. But yeah, I agree.
What about not
Just
trading?
Have you build it. Go ahead.
What about instead of trading? What about like an AI just like is for hire, and humans will pay it, Bitcoin or stable coin, and it just is collecting this in a wallet, and then the AI decides it wants to pay a human to do something for it. And it just pays the Bitcoin or stable coin. It's not actually trading it, but it's just receiving and paying. Do you envision something like that coming about anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, because if that happens, it's probably going to be more TradFi than like DeFi in a sense, because it's going to be large companies like your Anthropics that are going to probably do that kind of stuff first, like lawyer for hire, right, kind of thing, or software engineer for hire kind of thing, where they want to collect dollars. They don't want to collect necessarily Bitcoin, or like maybe USDC is probably even more likely than Bitcoin, because they don't want to take on the financial risk of holding a volatile asset like Bitcoin. I think that'll shift and change over time. I think as Bitcoin or crypto in general is going to naturally become more accepted in the industry, and not the industry, but the entire like American economy or world economy, as Bitcoin becomes just more held by more people, and people just are much more engaged with it and more comfortable with it as a resource. That could be the case. It's unclear like whether it's going to be. I have my generic AI, which is just my ChatGPT account or something like this, and that's my lawyer, and that's my this, and that's my that, and that's my that, and I don't need to go out and hire a specific AI to do a specific thing. Or if we're going to get into the more nuanced, spiritual, like niche kind of things, it's more likely in my mind that we're going to go general and not niche. Because we're focusing all of our resources to achieve like in the AGI concept. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't want to build niche products within the AI space. The product is not building a lawyer or a software engineer. The product is going to be AGI, right? ASI eventually. So I don't think so, in my opinion, but I could be eating my words in 6 months. We'll see.
Cool.
I love it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how it goes, but I'm just so glad. Like, imagine if we didn't have Chad, you guys, and he was not using Huginn to start, helping with the code on THORChain. We'd be so far behind. We would just be like, hey, what's going on? Like, you were totally on top of this. Props, man, props. Like, that's just forward-thinking shit. That's how it works, man. I love that so much.
Yeah, I found the tweet that I tweeted a while back. That was May 29th, 2025. So that was almost a year ago that I was talking about exactly this, right? About building this kind of Huginn bot that I even call it Project Huginn. I said in my tweet right there, Project Huginn. I'm talking about the use cases, how we could use it to help us code and like become an autonomous developer. And one day it'll take over 90% of the development on THORChain, which is absolutely astounding if you think about it. But it's probably happen maybe by the end of the year, maybe next year.
But based on what you were saying earlier, I mean, that's going to happen in all software.
All
everywhere.
software.
Like that's
Yeah, we have to be much more cautious than your average software, right? Like most software does not have to be as cautious as we have to be, because we're storing tens of millions, hundreds of millions, whatever the value is of worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and various assets. So we can't just arbitrarily just like willy-nilly, throw out some AI slop code and throw it up on the blockchain and be fine with it. We have to be much more, strenuous in the way that we kind of write code, more so than like Claude Code has to build Claude Code. Like Claude Code can make mistakes, and that's fine. It doesn't really matter that much per se. But for us, like we secure funds, so we have to be much more safe about it than your average Web 2 website. So we'll be slow to the adoption in that sense of like fully autonomous, right? But we'll have humans involved in the process at all major cruxes to ensure that everything's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Well, until the point comes that like I feel that the AI is smarter than every developer we have on the team combined. If that's the case, then I can probably just exit myself as a software engineer entirely from the code base and just let the AI do it at that point, because it's much better and smarter than I am anyway. Even if it makes a mistake and it produces a bug of some kind, I produce bugs all the time too. Like I'm a person, like I make mistakes, you know what I mean? And that's perfectly natural. So even if it makes mistakes, the question is, does it make mistakes less than humans do? Like Tesla, for example, is driving. Does it make mistakes? Absolutely. Do people get hurt? Yeah, sometimes. Do you get hurt driving cars on the street? Yeah. 30,000 people die per year in America, like more so than like handguns because people are like, texting and driving or drunk or, or just have a tire that explodes on them while they're driving or whatever.
Listening to a THORChain live stream,
Listening to a THORChain live stream, both hands on the wheel, people. Both hands on the wheel. But like that's like a natural thing to occur. So like when the time comes that the AI is much better than me and the entire team combined, then it becomes the team is the hindrance to the AI. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like you would probably produce worse code because we're involved rather than better code.
So I had.
Go ahead, Kenton.
No.
Oh, what would you do with that 5% developer fund then? I don't want to make 9 rounds nervous.
Well, I mean, that's a good question. So like the 5% dev fund that's currently being happening, like we have to evaluate at that time. Like that might be the thing at some stage, right? Like we have a lot of cost to operating this network, right? We're paying, me, my salary and the salary of the other devs, for example. We also pay community members and block explorers and marketing, which is going from the system income. There's lots of things that are happening, and on things that landscape is going to drastically change over the coming, in the coming years. What that's going to look like in 5 years, it's almost impossible to know. I don't even know off the top of my head what the burn rate is that we have currently, but like that might be reduced significantly, and that just makes us much more viable or sustainable over a much longer period of time. We're still here, we're still producing code, we're still doing what we do, and doing a pretty good job of it in a time when a lot of other projects have basically died or gone full on zombie style. And we're still here and producing a large amount of code. We're producing more code now than we have, in the past, in part because of the AI, which is obviously, largely a very positive thing. So like, I'm very open and curious to see how things are going to change. But even like when we hire, an external developer to build like, THORChain.net, for example, or RuneScan, something like this, like the cost of that should come down naturally with it because the cost of building and maintaining that code comes down significantly. Are we going to get to a point where we don't even need humans for that too, and we just have an AI bot that just constantly just looks at the logs of RuneScan or something like that, and then, there's a bug, and fix it, deploy it, and it's a full autonomous process and then do it for like pennies on the dollar? Sure, that's totally a viable thing that may happen in the next few years. And then of course we're going to engage with that because it just makes us more sustainable as a project,
We're all getting fired, boys. All of us.
Including me, by the way. I'm not excluded from this. Like I could get fired from this. Who knows?
How is it going looking for another dev?
Yes, I was just going to ask that. Thank you.
Yeah, so I've interviewed a few. I actually have another one at 4 o'clock, so I have to go in about 40 minutes to interview the next person. Yes, it's going well. I got a couple of good candidates. I'm interested to see what this next person is gonna do. I'm hoping that we'll be able to hire at least one, maybe even two, within the next week, if things go as smoothly as I would like them to go. I'm excited about the future of the project. Like I think we're going to have more, human dev resources, which is so funny because we're like engaging much more in the AI side as well. But we're going to have probably more dev talent, dev heads, whatever you want to call it, in the project now than we've had in the past, and that makes me excited about the future.
Well, like you mentioned this, I think, on the previous podcast, that it's the AI, the LLMs are only as good as the prompt. Mm-hmm. And so having a few different humans working together, right now Huginn's just relying on Chad's prompts. But we could have another human with his own set of experiences and what he thinks, ask Huginn a different way, prompt it a different way, and we can get another outcome, right? So it's like having multiple drivers on the AI. That'll help leverage it for us, right? Yeah,
sure. I mean, it's interesting. As Huginn's generating more and more work, right, and more code, you need more and more resources to review that code, right? Because the throughput, like writing code is so fast these days, right? Even me writing code, my process has gone up like 10x or whatever the speed is. It feels like it's 10x to me. But now you need much more reviewers, and reviewing is the one thing that AI I mean, AI does do it, and Huginn does do reviews in the code, and it is helpful. But you can't rely on that solely. You definitely need humans to, because AI can make the most, clueless, basic common sense mistakes that even, Kenton as a non-developer probably would not have made, But so you definitely need humans involved in the process, and so like that's partially why we need to hire more people, and so that we can actually keep on pushing through this much code as fast as we can. I mean, Huginn's like generating it iterates through the code continuously, looking for problems, bugs, issues, security, blah, 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 whatever it is. It's doing that continuously. It takes about a week, maybe 2 weeks to go through the entire code base, and very meticulously. It's doing what I call a folder file function approach to this, which is something I had thought of. And it takes a while to do that, but like it's generating tons of GitLab issues of legitimate, bugs. Most of them are very small, not like to be, concerned about or whatever. But it's doing that, and it's generating like 50 issues per week or 100 issues per week, which is a lot more than I would have done if you'd asked me to do the same task, to be honest with you. It would have found, it's finding a lot more things that I would have found if you asked me to, go line by line and look for issues or bugs. So we need to we're having an increased throughput of code changes happening naturally, and we need an increased throughput on the human side as well to coalesce with that kind of production increase.
Nice. So these guys you're talking to, or girls, are they they have experience in crypto, or they're like new to crypto?
It's a mix. There was somebody in the community that came to me. They've been around for years, I think. And they're not Golang developers, and they're not even Cosmos SDK developers, but they're developers in other languages, and they wanted to contribute. And I'm considering that. I'm not sure if that'll happen or not. I'm still kind of thinking it over. The people that I've been interviewing with are in crypto. They've been, most of them are Cosmos SDK developers, and they've been doing it for a considerable amount of time. One person I've interviewed is a Polygon employee and has been there for many years. So it's a pretty good range, but part of me thinks that like I am less concerned about like whether your Cosmos SDK experience is heavy or thin or not at all, because like that stuff is learnable. You can learn the Cosmos SDK. You can learn this like that. It might take a few months to get there, but like that's something that's like you can adjust for and become better at. What I'm more interested about is like, are you focused? Are you good to work with? Are you intellectually sound? A lot of the conversations I have in my interviews, like I don't do coding tasks. Like this is like a famous thing that Google started many years ago of giving like little coding tasks to see if you're a good coder or not by giving this like leak code, tricky kind of coding thing. I think that's fucking bullshit, to be honest with you. Like it doesn't really mean what people thought that it mean, to be honest with you, in my opinion. What I look for in interviews is like I ask you simple questions, like tell me about, example would be like, tell me about what are the biggest technical challenges in crypto, right? And there's no right or wrong answer to that question. I'm just like, is your answer sound? Does it make sense? Is it a good point? Are you impressing me? Or are you just like, oh, I think crypto is cool and crypto sounds like it's a fun thing. If that's your answer, I'm like, okay, well then you're an idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about, and you're not going to fit in here for obvious reason. You're done. But if you have like, even if I don't agree with your technical analysis of whatever the things you're talking about, you've proven to me that you've thought deeply about it, that you're capable of going into deep thought, that you are intellectually capable of like expressing an idea and staying true to it. And then when I challenge you on your ideas, maybe you would acknowledge some good points that I'm making, or you are going to become defensive and say and say that I'm wrong for asking this question, or some sort of like kind of irrational response to it. That's stuff you can't train. That's stuff you can't teach. That stuff. That's how you are as a person. And I'm more interested in that than I am in your technical necessarily prowess, because the technical stuff I can teach you. I can get you there as long as you're a smart person, quick learner, this kind of thing. I can get you there, and I don't mind doing that. But if you're an asshole, if you're not like deeply thought of this, if you don't love to code, if coding is not like part of your soul that you love to do, that like you're probably just not going to be as productive as somebody who does love to do it, who gets excited about this stuff. Because somebody who loves this stuff, as I have done it for a long time, I just constantly just built new projects. A lot of it didn't even mean to do anything with it. I wasn't trying to build a new company. It's just like I thought this was cool. Like how do I put I did a project once just for fun. of like, how do I pull the subject, verb, and an object out of a sentence? I'm going to build some code that does that. Now, it's kind of like an interesting idea from a computer science perspective. I don't know what use case it has, but it was kind of a cool notion. I spent, I don't know, like a month or two working on it a long time ago. And that kind of excitement or interest or curiosity is just going to spawn somebody who really cares, loves, excited, learning, engaged. And those are the kind of people that I personally like to work with more than anything else.
Yeah, you can't train curiosity.
You can't train that stuff. You can't learn it. You either have it or you don't. And that's what I'm trying to ascertain more than the actual technical skill. Obviously, you need to have technical skill. And if you have experience, that's obviously better than not having experience for obvious reasons. But like, I really want to know is like, are you smart? Are you engaged? Are you easy to work with? Can you be collaborative? Are you a team player? Like that stuff is really what's more important to me.
Do you ask them about their views on freedom of speech and censorship?
I haven't asked that. Maybe I will moving forward, but I hope that like if you're going to choose to work in a company like this, not a company, but a project like this, that you're already kind of aligned. But then again, we've had people on the devs on working on it that weren't really aligned in that sense. Like Pluto, I'm gonna use Pluto here because he publicly made a thing out of it, so he's already kind of doxed himself in this way. But like he was very vocal about this and not wanting to have decentralization in the traditional sense. He wanted to be controlled, and we should block certain wallets or whatever. Like that was his personal viewpoint, and now he's working on his own kind of fork or whatever you want to call it to build his own Harbor Dex, whatever it's called. Yeah. And that's fine. He's going to do that, and he's going to have his worldview, and they're going to ban and block certain addresses, I guess. I'm guessing. I don't know if that's actually true of the project, but based upon how I know about Pluto, I'm guessing that to be the case. And that's their choice. They can go ahead and do that. I don't know what the point of that is, to be honest with you, because if you're doing that, just be a sex. Like, what's the point of the whole Dex part if you're just gonna like, we're gonna ban certain people or block whatever? Just be a fucking sex, like Coinbase. There's nothing wrong with that. You can be a sex. There's nothing wrong with being a sex. Just be a sex. I don't know what this like middle ground is. We're Dex, but we're not Dex, but we're Dex, but we're not Dex. I'm just like, choose an identity here, my friend. I don't know.
Same with Hyperliquid. Like, it's just a sex. Like,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
Just be that.
Yeah.
Just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to get in your case about being a Dex or a sex rather. That's fine. Just be truthful to what it is and what is the value that you're providing. If you're a Dex and you're gonna, like Chainflip, for example, a Dex and they're gonna like block certain addresses or whatever it is, what are you doing? What is the point? Why should people use you versus Coinbase? Oh, we don't do KYC. Well, you kind of do, don't you? Yeah. You know what I mean? You kind of do. If you're gonna go to Chainalysis and they tell you that they don't like that person, well, they've done their fucking KYC, and you're just gonna like, okay, cool. You don't like this person. I don't even know who this person is, but because you don't like this person, I don't like this person, and that person can no longer trade on this exchange. What the hell are we even talking about at this point? Just like if you don't like what it is that we do as in decentralized finance in general, which has been the viewpoint from day one, then just do something else.
Yeah. That's
what?
Well, that's actually why I asked you, Chad, because I find a lot of people in crypto, they really don't believe in freedom of speech and the movement. And I'm just curious if it's like, can someone who's curious and technically savvy still deliver if they're against free speech? Right. And in my mind, they're always going to be handicapped. Like, never really. Whereas like somebody who truly believes in free speech, maybe they're not the senior best guy, but they believe in the mission. We just get that extra oomph out of them, right? That extra commitment.
Well, there's a kind of that famous saying of I may not believe. I'm not going to get exactly correct. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but like I may not agree with what you say, but I will fight to the death so that you can say it, right? Like when you're saying that we should have free speech because I want people who are like me to say what they want to say, that's not free speech. It's when people that you don't agree with. Like I don't like neo-Nazis, but I do believe they have the right to to protest if they choose to do so. And I will fight for the right for them to protest because that's what free speech is.
Yeah.
It's not when they agree with me. It's when they don't agree with me. I will stand true to my views, right? Stand true to my morals, and say that you should have the right to speak, even if I disagree with you. This idea that you only agree with free speech when they agree with you, I mean, that's not free speech, man. That's the exact opposite of free speech.
Yep.
That's censorship. You're talking about censorship at this point.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, like, people who say, look, we're going to stop and prevent economically bad actors, right? And maybe they'll say the most hated one, like DPRK, right? Everyone hates them, obviously, right? But if you're looking for economically bad actors, when are we blocking the U.S. government? You ready to do that? Because, I think they're probably one of the worst, right? You prepared to block the U.S. government? Hey, we've got to stay intellectually consistent here. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lose-lose. It's lose-lose.
Yep.
It's got to be open, and the problem will fix itself.
Yep. There was a dev, and I'm not going to mention names, of course, for reasons, but like there was a dev on the team that didn't want to contribute anymore because we merged Zcash, and Zcash has privacy built into it, and they don't want to be associated with contributing to a project that is part of privacy or whatever it is, and that's their individual choice if they want to make that choice. Like I don't fault them for it. It's their worldview. They can have whatever viewpoint they want to have, but I at some point I'm just like I don't understand that viewpoint to some degree because what do you think we're doing here? Like it's about decentralization. It's about being privacy focused in the sense that we don't do KYC, for example. Like to have as soon as you shun away from privacy in that sense, then it's like well. I fail to see the line that's being drawn here because we've already crossed that line when you signed up on day one and we're doing Bitcoin to Ethereum transactions. What's the difference?
Sorry, Chad.
Do good.
Honestly, that's why I'm still here. That's why I'm going through all this brain damage and still believe in THORChain and work on it and everything. It's like, this is real free speech.
Yeah.
I don't see many other projects doing anything like this, right? And
No. Yeah, Chainflip's not doing it. Near's not doing it. I mean, what cross-chain DEX out there it has this mentality? I don't think any of them do, right? I don't think Layer 0 does, and to my knowledge at least. Like there's always a centralized component to what they do. At least from my recollection, that's true at least. For Near, they stopped a $10 million trade a few weeks ago, right? Chainflip already publicly said they're filtering addresses and whatever. Like,
yeah. I brought this up a few times in the past, but CARF, Crypto Asset Reporting Framework. This is coming, guys. It's going to become a thing in the next couple of years where basically they have the front ends or whatever, DeFi platforms, I don't know. They're going to start forcing in some kind of KYC. And so I don't know how they're going to enforce it or where it's going to land, but it's coming. And the guys that are doing the censorship already, they're going to implement this too. And then they've just done a giant circle back to TradFi, back to being a sex.
Yep.
So, it's.
Well, what we have to do as a community is to continue to hold the torch, right?
Yes.
Carry the torch forward and carry the original viewpoint of this entire industry. Like we're still kind of OG in that sense, that we still believe in the origins of this industry and the idea of freedom of speech and the right to own your assets, and all this kind of stuff. Like we're going to hold that torch. Like I'm going to continue to hold that torch. If this community decided to vote me out because they don't want to, they don't no longer want to adhere to that, then I will happily leave at that point.
I can't imagine anyone still here. I think we're all on the same page at this point.
Right.
I think we are.
Yeah.
I think like the whole thing with Bybit kind of was a big moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like in a bear market, that washes everyone out, right? The believers right now are the ones who are staying. And like THORChain's making crypto cypherpunk again. Like this is, when I first heard about Bitcoin and, the early years, like the early, 2011 to, 15, man, the conversations were so much more interesting. Like, freedom and, fighting the man. Like, I don't see that anymore. So I do believe it's, we're going to make a comeback to that everyone's getting tired with all these, garbage tokens, all the rent seeking. burning out audiences, all that kind of stuff. I have a feeling this is my bet anyway, that's ending and the real tech is going to survive here.
Yeah.
I've never seen our community more aligned in the history of since I've been here, ever. I mean, all the people, the diehard, the believers, the people who really want to push this thing forward, we're serious. It's not romanticized. It's not like, we're not making this like we want to build the thing that liberates everyone. We want to build that, and we're not going to stop until we accomplish that goal. And the people who really mean that, who truly believe that, they're the ones that are still here. They're the ones that are listening to this live stream, and I thank you very much. It really has taken all of us to get to this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to keep going. In fact, I think we're about to just go to a next level for THORChain, especially with Huginn, Chad. Like, I am so excited for the future. I really feel like we got our ducks in a row. Everything. I feel good. I feel really good. I can't shake that feeling. I don't want to. I'm not pretending I feel good. I feel excellent about what we're going. It's just so much fun.
I do too. When I know you guys don't see what I'm working on the website, but I'm like, when the site's done, SEO is done, and we can actually start trying to drive people to it, I'm like, fuck, something's got to work. I don't believe I can try dozen things and all dozen things are going to fail. I just don't believe it. I'm like, something is going to work. Something's going to stick, and we'll be able to get some. And once we find something that works and we start, pouring more effort into that and replicating it, I'm convinced that once people find out about this, it's just a no-brainer. I don't use the SEX. I just use it for a fiat on and off ramp.
Me too. Yeah.
I don't, I do everything.
Yep.
And I feel like the real power crypto users are the same. And they just don't know about THORChain yet, right? Or they've got the wrong impression or whatever.
Yeah,
we do have a question from the audience, guys, and I hear this a lot, Chad, and maybe you can just give like a more explain. Everyone wants to know XMR. Like, what is the main problem with XMR? Why is it so hard to add on THORChain? So maybe I'll kick it to you.
Yeah. So I was just at a meeting today with the ChainNet, one of the ChainNet guys, and we talked about XMR. We spent maybe like 10-15 minutes talking about it. So we were talking about like different chains. Right now, I think he's focusing on Cardano currently. We just got Sol, Zcash is next. I think Polygon also got merged, and Cardano after that. So we talked about XMR, and we were just saying how complicated it is. The signing, especially, and the way of securing those assets. I don't think we can use GG20 as it is with XMR. I am not sure if of DSLR, the DSLR. That's not it. What is the name of that acronym? Now I'm forgetting the acronym. There's another
DKLS.
DKLS. Thank you. DKLS. I don't know if DKLS works with XMR or not. I know there's kind of some people have told me. I think that the latest version of the multi-sig, like built into the Monero thing, is a lot better than it was a few years ago. Because a few years ago, even the devs over there were saying, don't use our multi-sig for any production code. It is not secure. It is problematic. Blah blah blah. And so we obviously shied away from it for that reason, for obvious reasons. But even with that, I don't know how well it would work, because I don't know. Every implementation of multi-sig is different on a per chain basis. And some have different limits of the number of signatories you can have in a multi-sig. And I don't know what the limits are for XMR off the top of my head. And we have, each of our vaults has, 18, 19, 20, signers. That number might be too large to support, especially if we move to DKLS, where we're going to go from, 20 per vault to maybe 100 per vault, theoretically. So that is going to be an ongoing thing, but it is going to be one of our priorities for 2026 is to get XMR. But it is so complicated, not even just the signing part of things, but also like the view keys on the Thor node side to be able to decrypt. And I think when you make a signature, you have to get other signatories, so that creates that ring signature kind of like effect to give that privacy. Is just another layer of complexity. Like, I am nervous about XMR. I love XMR. I would love to add it, and I do want to add it, and that's going to be one of my goals. But I'm nervous about it because it's just so technically complex and difficult to get it actually achieve, and that, which is why nobody else has added it. Even like more centralized protocols. I still haven't added XMR yet, because it is that complicated to do. But I'm hoping that we can get it done this year. But don't quote me on that, because there's a lot of other things that in flow and flux, and there, it's going to be challenging for sure.
But I know a cryptographer here in Cayman, and he's pretty well respected and liked. He's a good guy, but I don't know how good a coder he is or not. But apparently everyone says he's like a genius cryptographer. Should I put you guys in touch? Is it worth?
Yeah, put me in touch.
Even
just having a conversation with him so that I can learn more. Like, I'm not a cryptographer myself. I'm not an expert in this field. I know a little bit that I've learned over the years, but I'm not an expert by any stretch. Talking to somebody like him, I know the head of cryptography over at Coinbase. And so having a conversation just to understand where the challenges lie and whatever, what is practical, what is impractical, so forth and so on. That in itself would be hugely valuable to me, just that I know what the pathway forward looks like to deliver something like XMR.
All right, I'll talk to him and see if he's just open to chatting with you for a bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I get this question a lot because they're going to have an update on XMR. Does it even make sense to add it now? Wait until they have this massive update coming on the XMR side. Maybe that would, it would just invalidate the work that if we were to start today, it would invalidate the work we're doing for 6 months from now.
Yeah, I'm not even familiar with FCMP, to be honest. I don't even know what that is.
There's too many acronyms in this in this industry.
Maybe that's part of their roadmap that I'm not clued into the XMR roadmap personally. So I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. But I can look into it. Maybe post FCMP, it'll be even easier for us to integrate, and it'll get done quicker because of that. Who knows?
Yeah, and someone's same person asking is would it be okay if we used a wrap version of it in the meantime until we get the real deal? It's typically not what we do, but
I don't know what you mean by a wrap version in this context. To be honest, I'm not sure if that person wants to come on stage or not.
Either.
But is that a wrapped XMR on the Ethereum blockchain? Is that what you mean by that?
Perhaps.
Or maybe you mean something else that I'm not even familiar with. So I don't know if that person has any.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'll wait for him to respond. But guys, this is what I'm just talking about. People ask me this question all the time. If we could add XMR tomorrow, we would do it. At least I would push for it, right?
Yeah.
And it is so unbelievably complicated. Every dev I talk to, Chad Bearford, everyone else, I always hear the same thing. This is just another level of complexity. So
it would be the most complicated one to add. There's no blockchain that I know of in the world that would be more difficult to add than XMR. But XMR also provides a lot of interesting value by having one of the most, in my opinion, strongest encryption and privacy kind of methodologies out there, right? It's really clean in that sense, and so, and I you guys know me. I believe in privacy. I think privacy is a first right for every human. Right? We should have privacy, and the rest of the world agreed with me up until 1970, where the Bank Secrecy Act passed or whatever it is, and all of a sudden, privacy went out the window within finances. But we should bring it back, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of people saying some interesting things in chat right now. I would love this. I think, this is something people say a lot. I totally agree. If we added XMR, I think the volume on THORChain, we're the first to do it, would be absolutely incredible. Would just be astonishing how much volume we would get if we managed to add XMR. So there's definitely a huge economic reward for being the first to do this. 100%.
Yeah, I think there would be too. That's why we have Zcash as a lot of volume on Near, for example.
How do you think it would? So, part of the reason we can handle these huge Bitcoin swaps is because of the ability for ARBs to arbitrage it with other markets, right? Other sexes. Mm-hmm. If Monero is delisted from all these other, if it's from all these other sexes, could it be harder for us to process a lot of volume if it's harder for the ARBs to arb?
No, because
there's enough markets out there.
Well, if there are no sexes remaining that support XMR, then THORChain becomes the only market.
Okay, yeah.
Then you don't need to ARB anymore because whatever the price is there, that's actually the market price. There's no need to ARB at all, which is kind of funny to think about, but it's kind of what it would be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be kind of remarkable in some sense.
Okay. Got it.
Everybody's buying and selling XMR on THORChain. their full. I don't know what their volume is right
Sounds good to me.
now. Like how much?
I love that.
How much? What is the daily trade volume for XMR? I'm curious. I'm gonna look it up while we're.
I'm not sure.
Right now, it's the 16th largest coin. It's trading at 343. Daily volume is about 100 million, a little less than 100 million. So I wouldn't mind getting 100 million trade volume on THORChain. I wouldn't complain about that.
I would suspect it would increase due to the ease. If we made a simple way for people to go into layer 1 to layer 1 XMR, I think a lot of the reason why maybe that volume isn't more is just the friction. People just don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, logically speaking, anybody who is an XMR holder, right, is a person, I would guess, believes in privacy and probably wants to keep it private that they hold XMR or, whatever. And to get in and out of XMR without needing to give up your your passport and all this kind of information, I think that would be very exciting for anybody who is an XMR holder. But that's just me.
Okay, so Chad, what about, so we're going to support Zcash soon, but I believe it's unshielded, right? What about having a shielded Zcash pool on THORChain?
Yeah, so that would be the next step if we wanted to go that direction. It's debatable to me whether we want that or not, to be honest with you, because you can go unshielded to get in and out of the chain, right? And then as soon as you go from unshielded, you can move into a shielded address personally, locally, without anybody else really being involved in the process. I guess being shielded would give you like an extra layer of like ease or something like this, I suppose. But I don't see a huge amount of value there, but I'm happy to be wrong. I know, I'm pretty sure Maya is looking into adding shielded addresses on theirs, and I'd be curious to see what their volume is, shielded versus unshielded, or once they added shielded, how much more volume, like overall, Zcash volume have they increased. They can be kind of a canary in the coal mine that can let us know whether, how much value that is. And if they do it, then we could probably just like copy and paste their code and bring it to us as they've done, on their side from us. So I don't think it'd be that valuable personally. That's my knee-jerk kind of hot take, but I'm happy to be proven wrong if I am.
Well, I know we don't have much more time. You have to go interview somebody. We have a few minutes, and maybe maybe we shut before that time so you can have a time to chill your brain before you're going to go interview somebody. But is there anything else, Chad, that you want to say that you feel like we've missed, or anything that comes to mind at all?
I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that there's a bunch of things that kind of like in flight that I'm excited about. Rapid swaps being one of those. I think once 3.16 goes out, we can flip that one on and see how. Hopefully that goes in a good way, of course. I'm still trying to get zero conf Bitcoin trading. I'm trying to get that into 3.17 so that we can get faster trades and be more competitive against our swap kit competitors in some sense, and just get people able to trade more efficiently. Like both rapid swaps and this feature are both about just improving the speed, right? The speed of money in some sense, and get us better in that particular way. The other thing we've been talking about is the extra income that the reserve makes from various places throughout the system, of getting that kind of rolled into system income. So you'll probably see like a 5-ish% increase in system income from that change alone.
I thought that was already done.
We did it, but it's not flipped on yet. So it's in the code. We just need to flip it on, and we just haven't gotten around to doing that quite yet. There's another conversation that I think Boone opened up an ADR, or is planning on opening an ADR to burn the reserve. So that has to work with that in some sense, because they're both kind of like touching the same thing at the same time. That's another thing. And then the other thing that I'm interested about is that we have some over solvency in the network, where over the years we've just collected a little extra Bitcoin here and there, a little extra Ethereum here and there. How much money it is? I want to say it's $3 million in total that we've just naturally collected over years and years of just places. And I think that money will probably go to the treasury, because whenever funds get lost into the network, the treasury was the one that sent the Bitcoin back to the person who lost the Bitcoin or whatever the hell it was. So it makes sense to put that back towards the treasury. And wouldn't be bad for the treasury to get some extra money in it, which is what funds this whole thing, to begin with. So I don't think people would have much of an issue with that. So that's another thing I'd like to see happen in the nearest future.
It'd be nice like bear markets are for building, right?
Yeah.
And like this is the time to invest, right? I know financially all of us are already all in, right? None of us have any
Yep.
more money. But like, but as the project, say that the money, I'm happy. That sounds great to me. Have the money go to the treasury, and I would love to see you guys spend it, like to actually like, let's not just hold on to it, but let's actually put it to work because.
Yep.
I get it. You can hold on to Bitcoin or RUNE. It's going to be worth more 5 years from now. But the work we do today can put us so much further ahead 5 years from now because that work we do today compounds in those 5 years, right?
Yeah. As the RUNE price or Bitcoin price kind of compounds in some manner of speaking, right?
Yeah.
The work would too in some ways.
Yeah. So I'd love to see you guys put that actually to work, to bring on. If it means hiring an extra person, doing an extra thing, whatever, I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I don't speak for the community. I'm pretty sure, I'm positive the community would love to see that too, because it's the kind of brings life that things are happening, right? Things are getting done, and it's not just we're not just sitting around waiting for a bull market. Like we're becoming agents in our success. We're making things happen. We're trying to,
Yeah, I mean, the marketing team is a really good example of that, right?
Yeah, totally.
We launched that in the bear market, right? And we're investing into, building that side of our community or ecosystem, if you want to call it that. I'm hiring on the dev side, just to get more devs into it. I'm also hiring on the AI side, right? Hiring Huginn in a matter of speaking, growing Huginn myself or whatever. But like we're investing into it to change the fundamentals of the project now, so we get the exponential return on the other side. When we do get both.
Yeah.
Part of that 3 million, I would love for the treasury, that 3 million, to subsidize as many friggin' tokens as you need, Chad. Make Huginn work as hard as he can.
Yeah,
day,
maybe.
It all goes to Huginn. Sorry, Chad,
maybe.
you're wrong. You're $3 million.
$3 million in Huginn tokens.
Yeah, I might just like buy another max plan, which you're not supposed to do, and nobody tell Anthropic that I'm thinking about doing this because they'll get pissy. But like, shh, quiet everybody, quiet. Or maybe I'll just use like competitor. I'll use Codex instead. That way, it's not breaking any rules or something like this. But like I might do that, because it's like those plans are so much more cheap, like per token, than just buying the raw SDK, API tokens. So like I'm trying to be as frugal as I can. Like, and I think we're looking into cutting some costs some places. Like, for example, like we've been spending a bunch of money on the GitLab, like lots of money per month, just to have seats for developers to contribute to things. And we haven't been using the open source program that they have on GitLab. Why? I don't know. That's just the way what it's been. So we're looking at a bunch of things that we can do to like reduce our costs of operation. But at the same time, like we're hiring devs to like increase our throughput and increase our talent or skills in that way, and being just more frugal in the right places and spending money in other right places to get a maximum return on our dollars, right? Our satoshis, I should say, to improve this protocol. And the treasury is like quite healthy. I don't know how much money is. I think it's like 8 million, or last I heard it was like 8 million or 10 million, whatever the hell the number was, dollars in total value in the treasury. Plus maybe this 3 million, whatever that number is going to be, is another like addition to that. So we're like really healthy. We have plenty of runway for years and years and years to come. And that's assuming that everything stays where it is now at the current prices of Bitcoin and RUNE and whatnot, which is obvious. I don't think anybody believes we're going to be where we are now in 5 years price-wise. So we have lots of space, lots of time, the treasury is healthy, it's well protected, like all these things.
I have a question. I know you got to go. I hate asking new questions, but the over-solvency, does this mean this over-solvency issue is gone, or will we always collect a little over-solvency? So is this something that's repeatable in the future?
That's a good question. I don't actually know when the over-solvency happened. My guess is a lot of it happened like in 2021, and the prices of Bitcoin today is a lot higher than even now than it was in 2021, right?
Makes sense.
And so that's partially why the number is so large. It's not because we've had $3 million worth of bugs necessarily, but just because we got trapped some Bitcoin back in 2020 even, right? When Bitcoin was like $4,000 or whatever the price was at that time, or whatever the number was. and the price has just gone up over time. I suspect that like we've been better and more mature with the years over the years, and we have less bugs and we're just like have less of a surplus or less of catching per block or per year or whatever the thing is. We could do an analysis to figure out the answer to this question. I'm not sure if I really care that much.
Yeah.
You know? I think what we've done is we've just made a blanket code change that like does an analysis of how much we have in the pools, how much we have in the vaults, how much we have in secured assets, and intents and all these different things. We're just like juggling like 15 different balls at the same time, and then figuring out like where all the balls are, which is a little bit tricky in some ways. And then every time we see a little bit of surplus, we just start kind of like peeling a little bit off at a time and just swapping it to RUNE, sending it to the treasury, and then we just collect that RUNE over there, and then we, spend it as we want to spend it.
So this surplus, does this mean swappers were kind of getting a little bit less than they should have? Or like where?
No.
Like, there's no free lunch. So who lost this?
It was most. I suspected what was happening. Like it wasn't like you didn't get all the Bitcoin you were supposed to get or something like this. It's more like you made a trade. There was some bug in the system that just swallowed your trade entirely, and then you complained to the protocol. Oh, I got this trade, and I didn't get my Bitcoin out of it, or whatever the thing is. And then most probably the treasury are just like, oh, here's your Bitcoin, right, to kind of cover the cost of it, so you get your money back. And over the years, as the prices have gone up and have had more and more opportunity for more trades to happen, where there's some sort of edge case that was caught or whatever, or bug that wasn't fixed or something like this. That's my guess. I don't actually know the answer to the question. That's probably like the most likely scenario, is that there's a whole bunch of trades that happened over the time span of the last 5 years, 6 years, that just got kind of fell through the cracks in one place or another and just got stuck there. And we've been trying to,
Or somebody might have was doing a manual trade, went to an old pool address or whatever.
Yeah,
would have to go to current address, I guess. But
even retiring, like you could have done a trade where we didn't even observe it. I don't know. There's lots of scenarios that could have happened, and we've been fixing them as we find them along the road, just to create a more stable, like solid, reliable protocol. But I think the vast majority of that money, I'm guessing, because I don't actually know, it just came from price appreciation, right? Like it wasn't like we didn't really capture $3 million worth of bugs. I suspect it was closer to like 100K, and then time span, things just gotten more valuable.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, guys, I know we're coming up to the end of this space. You think we guys should leave it here? So I think it's a pretty good way to end it. I know you got to go, Chad, and I want to make sure we respect your time.
Maybe we'll let Chad go. I just have a couple other things we can go over quick.
Okay.
After Chad
Sounds
leaves.
good, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna hop off. You guys have a good time, and
Thanks.
I'll see you guys all like next Thursday.
You bet.
Oh, dude,
Thanks,
love it, man. Thank you, buddy. It's so great talking to you.
Yep. Later, guys.
Good luck.
So, I just want to Bitcoin Las Vegas. I'm gonna go. Are you going, Denny?
I'm going now.
So, and I'm thinking about doing like a side event, a meetup, something, get all the THORChans together. And then also too, like people to invite friends, like hopefully get some, if you meet someone at the conference, bring them along, right? Introduce them to THORChain. So I think I want to organize something. But I need to get an idea of how many people. Do you know, or does the audience, does the community know, is there any kind of like a website, some kind of free tool that I can use that like people can RSVP, and that I can get kind of a head count of how many people would show up, and then I can plan accordingly, like what kind of venue, what size, what do I need to do?
Interesting question. I'll source around. I'll ask around and see if I can get you a good thing, and then we can make a list and then figure it out. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know off the top of my head. I know they're there. I just don't know what.
It has to exist. Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
And then I haven't even tried looking online. So this is the first I'm kind of bringing it up, thinking about it. So you're familiar with Vegas, Denny? You go there to the strippers all the time, from what I hear.
Yes.
I'm joking.
I do.
Cocaine
too, please.
Pardon?
I said cocaine as well, please.
Oh, yeah.
Get me right, okay? Cocaine, strippers, blackjack.
Do you know any spots like that we could go, that like off the strip, right?
Dude, wow. I mean, there's so many. I mean, Las Vegas is literally the food capital of the world. One of them, right? I mean, there is so many potentials. I mean, What kind of food do you want? I mean, you want Thai, you want anything.
Well,
I mean,
this is just
the
it. Like,
best steakhouse in the world. Like, man,
well,
so many
you
possibilities.
know, I'm guessing we can get maybe we'll get 30 people, maybe 50. So I don't know if it can be like an actual sit down restaurant. Might have to be a bit of a bar that has appetizers or something. And I was
I'll
thinking
figure that out.
I was thinking we'll just do appetizers.
Yeah.
But again, it depends. I mean, if only 10 people want to show up, then fine. We could just get a table at a restaurant somewhere, right? I have no idea. I have no idea how many people. So that's why I need to start kind of putting it out there and get a feel, get an idea. Then we can plan around that. But yeah, basically, I was just thinking, marketing team will pay for this. Some drinks and some appies. We can all get together, all meet each other, and shake hands, hug, high five each other. And if people, you meet anyone at the conference, you want to bring them along, great. It's half. I'm not expecting this to be like, my primary thought for doing this is for morale. If we're all there, we're going to all get together, we can all meet up and have some fun together. And then the secondary goal is introducing new people to THORChain. That's why I'm in my mind, just kind of keep it simple and casual. It doesn't have to be a big production. Like, I'm not going to put a whole bunch of money or effort into, this extravagant side event or anything like that. We can worry about that next year, next Bitcoin conference type deal. Yeah, I kind of want to get, I know I'm rambling a bit, but let me just finish my thought.
Yeah.
Before we get into really, side events, doing conferences properly, I kind of want to get these other things done and going. I think it's better to spend our money on on like some paid ads and whatnot, and some partnerships where we get more visibility than just a conference. A conference is like, you're going more for quality than quantity, right? And so, yeah, they're expensive, to get the booths and all that kind of, and you're not even guaranteed a speaking slot. So, yeah, I did look into it for the Bitcoin conference, guys. And it's just, I feel like it's just not worth it right now. And we just we're just not ready to kind of like plan that.
Next year.
Get it done.
Next year.
Yeah.
I think we'll be ready next year.
Oh, 100% next year. Yeah. So, yeah. Cool. So, anyone in the audience, if you guys are interested, just, tag me on Twitter so you want to go. I'll try and find out. We'll try and find some kind of tool, something online that can collect RSVPs. Yeah.
I'll start asking around the community. I mean, word will spread naturally, of course, but I'm pretty sure we'll have a decent group that'll want to go. This is always so much fun, guys. If you have never gone to a THORChain meetup, and I haven't met Kenton yet. I think I've known Kenton for 3 years now. I've not met this guy. That's crazy. I've met Chad. I've met so many other people. I've not met Kenton. This is my first time meeting Kenton in real life, so that'll be really great. But if you've not gone to a THORChain meetup, I'm telling you guys, it is the best experience. You're with people that just like understand. You cannot have these conversations with your family usually because they just don't get it, right? When you are filled in a room with the people who like understand everything about THORChain, they've been there in the history, they know all the stuff. It's just a whole different experience, guys. And it's just like the best feeling. I cannot emphasize this enough. So if you're thinking about going, go, because it is so much fun. I can't get enough. If I could do it every day, I would. I love hanging out with people in the crypto space, particularly people in THORChain. It's just some of the best and coolest individuals. And when you finally get to put faces towards like avatar pictures, it just makes the community so much stronger. You're right, Kenton. This is not only a morale, but when you establish that human connection, that is everything. Like, there's a form of trust, there's a form of understanding. When you finally like look someone in the eye for real, you like shake their hand, like you interact with them, you laugh with them, you share a drink or smoke a cigar, whatever it is, that is irreplaceable. There is no live stream that we could do that would ever replace that moment, right? So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you people do go, because this is something that I think it's worth your time. It is worth your time to. Trust me, I promise you.
Do you smoke
I live for it
cigars?
every year. Yes,
Dude.
I hang out with Alex, dude. Alex, and he's a Mexican in cigars. It's just like yes, So of course.
Well, then for sure we're going for cigars in Vegas. Yep.
We're gonna take Alex with us too, because he will refuse to let us go by ourselves. He loves cigars that much, so.
Nice,
100%.
definitely. All right, we'll get Alex too. We'll go for cigar. I was thinking maybe we find a cigar bar and do a meetup there, but I know not some people it's a bit much.
I'll see.
Bit-
We'll see.
bit-
They might. Yeah.
Well, I know
No.
that might be a bit too intense for some people that don't smoke, but for us anyway, we can go. Cool.
100%. If anyone wants to go shoot guns or blow up stuff in the desert, just let me know. I'll take you.
I do. Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I've always wanted to shoot a propane tank with a shotgun.
I can make that happen. Sure.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll buy it. Well, is that?
Dude, propane tanks are cheap. Don't worry about
I know.
it.
I'm like, I'll buy a propane tank, but like, can you actually get in trouble for doing it? Like, or you just go far enough in the middle of nowhere, and no one's gonna know.
We just go in the desert, and whatever happens is between us, the desert, and Jesus. Who cares?
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how it is. I mean, Las Vegas is surrounded by desert.
Yeah.
Look, I'm an American, right? I do whatever the hell I want to do. You know, kiss my ass. That's how it is. And if I want to go out and shoot my guns and go blow things up, I can do that. That's what we will do.
Nice.
Okay.
Are you in Arizona?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can take my weapons into Las Vegas. I can. Yes.
You can take them across state lines. You need like a license for that or something, or is that?
No.
That is legal.
No. Yep.
Oh, okay.
You can travel on the highway in the state. Now, some states will say it's illegal, but they're unconstitutional shitbags of states, and they need to all be arrested and thrown in prison for committing treason against the American people. Right? The Constitution is quite clear. It shall not be infringed, and that's how I live. So,
Nice.
yes, it is legal.
Nice. Right on. Awesome.
All right?
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
You guys want to go shoot guns? Then you'll come hang out with Kenton and I, and we will go do that. I promise. It'll be a lot of fun.
Right on. Well, should we wrap this up?
I think so, guys. Please spread the word about the meetup in BTC Las Vegas, guys. Help us do that, and try and let us know if you have some ideas, suggestions. This is totally open, right? This is all community stuff. So, okay, guys, let's wrap this thing up. I guess this is the last time I'm going to say this. If you're a Go developer and if you are watching this right now and you want to go on THORChain, you need to DM Chad right away, because sounds like he's about ready to hire somebody next week. So if you want the job, now's the time. If you were like the most amazing Go developer and you just happen to watch this now, do it. Guys, if you'd like to be a node operator, become a node operator and need some help, please reach out to @RuneTard on X. He can help you set up a node and find bond providers. I'll help you too. I'll do whatever I can to help you. We love increasing the decentralization of THORChain. As we said earlier, THORChain is here to economically liberate the world, and in order to do that, we have to be decentralized. The security posture of THORChain is now based on decentralization, so that is our goal. For THORChain data and insights, you guys, please follow Ray Analytics. That's @Ray, R-A-Y, Analytics, N-A-L-Y-T-I-C-S. Sorry about that. RAYNALYTICS. He produces really simple recaps for all these live streams. They're very simple. So if you're time constrained, you're watching right now and you want that, give him a follow. He produces it every time. He works really hard on them. Thank you, Ray. I really appreciate it. And guys, always remember, the views are solely of those of the hosts and guests. Any action taken based on this information is at your own risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Okay, guys? This Saturday, we are going to be having the Liquify boys. I got to meet a few of them in Las Vegas, actually, last year. So I'm really looking forward, hopefully, to talk to the same ones. Maybe I'll meet new, who knows? But those guys are super, super awesome. You guys do not want to miss that at all. And then next week, Saturday, I have a BTC whale coming on. And pretty cool guy, influencer, pretty funny. I've been interacting with him the last few days. And I can't wait to talk to that guy either. So with that being said, Kenton, do you have anything else before we really wrap it up for real?
That's great. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your week. We will see you Saturday. Take care now. Bye-bye.